Julian Ginter.
Mr. Chair. Thank you. I'd like to congratulate the Honourable David Parker for bringing this bill to the House and seeing it through the Select Committee process, because fundamentally this bill is about fairness. It's about creating a fairer New Zealand, and that's what we're here for. I know that most New Zealanders want to live in a country where if someone goes out and does a full day's work, that they have enough to live in a warm, safe, secure home, to put food on the table, that their kids don't have to go to school hungry. That is fair. And there are, two problems here, and this bill solves one of them, but, the problem in New Zealand, firstly, is the minimum wage isn't even high enough now for all New Zealanders who are working a full day's work to be able to afford those things that we consider essentials, that everyone in our society should have access to. Minimum wage at $15.25 an hour. After tax, people are taking home just over $514 a week. Is that enough when you've got a couple of kids, maybe a single parent? The way that house prices are going in Auckland? No, it's not enough. Too many people are struggling, working hard to make ends meet, and they can't. And that's not the New Zealand that I think most of us want to live in. And even those members opposite, I know they don't want that either. I just think they're a little out of touch with what's happening under the ideological approach taken by this government. So this bill solves one problem, which is that contracts are being used to get around our minimum wage rules and to pay people less. And this bill just makes it harder for people to do that, impossible for people to do that, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It's one step closer to a fairer society where people earn enough from their work. And that's what we want. And I know how difficult it must be for the members opposite to confront the fact that their ideology is not supporting the outcomes of a fairer New Zealand, because they probably really believe it. Coming from the United States, I can tell you that that ideology of always more competition, always cutting wages, not having a higher minimum wage, it doesn't work. It just leads to a grossly unequal society where there are some people who are incredibly wealthy and benefiting from this approach. But many people, far too many, are struggling, are working 60, 80-hour weeks, they're working multiple jobs, and they don't have enough to pay for the basics. They don't have enough for health care. And what's happening in that society is it is coming apart. And we can see that with the rise in the popularity of Donald Trump. That is the natural outcome of policies which are justified on the basis that they're good for employers and therefore good for jobs and therefore good for growth and therefore good for society. But the reality is, all the evidence shows that's not how it works. And so we have to protect workers. We have to make sure that they are getting paid enough. There is not any real evidence that higher minimum wages lead to higher unemployment. There's no evidence. There's no evidence of that. And I know it's really hard for those people brought up in the religion of the National Party to confront that reality, but go look at the evidence. Go look at the evidence, because the countries that are doing the best right now are the ones that have high protection for workers. They have higher wages. They have good social services. Scandinavia. Take a look at Scandinavia. But New Zealand is a small country, and we are a country that pride ourselves on fairness, looking after our natural environment, working hard, and sharing the benefits of that hard work. And I know that that is the New Zealand that we can create together. But in order to do that, obviously, we are going to have to change the government, because this lot do not understand how it is that we will create a New Zealand where everyone has the same opportunities. They are fundamentally committed to their constituency, which is a group of very privileged people who are out of touch with the reality of families who are struggling. So, Mr. Chair, I'm very proud to be voting in favor of this bill tonight. and with my party, I know that we're all strongly supportive of the efforts of the Honourable David Parker and the work that went into this bill in the Select Committee.
Denise Roche.
Very good.